Now, Count on 2, live and local in the Low Country. This is News 2 at 6.
Ending violence in North Charleston, the goal Police Chief Reggie Burgess wants to accomplish and how you can help.
And we will tell you how a $13 million grant will bring more jobs to Dorchester County and alleviate highway congestion. Good evening, I'm Carolyn Murray.
And I'm Brendan Clark. A second court appearance this week for the suspect accused of kidnapping a 4-year-old girl from her Johns Island home. Thomas
Lawton Evans waived his right to a bond hearing today. He faces a long list of charges, including attempted murder and kidnapping.
News 2's Sophia Arzoza is live in North Charleston at the Al Cannon Detention Center. Sophia, Evans was in and out of court within a matter of seconds.
It was a short-lived appearance. He basically just reaffirmed his decision to waive his right for a bond hearing. But tonight we are learning more about 7 new charges Evans will face, including attempted murder, armed robbery, and criminal sexual conduct to the first degree. Evans is accused of entering that home with the use of a knife. He allegedly brutally beat Heidi Todd's mother, and police reports revealed today show that he also sexually assaulted Heidi Todd's mother during that attack. He then restrained her and held her captive for an hour before he left with the 4-year-old. Surveillance video showed him using a Todd family credit card in Georgia. The two were found in Riverside, Alabama. Officials were able to safely rescue the 4-year-old before Evans fled from that scene. He was later arrested in Mississippi. Evans will face a circuit court judge within the next 30 days. You can continue to count on us to follow this story. Reporting live in North Charleston, Sophia Arzoza, Count on 2.
An update on the suspect accused of shooting a Berkeley County Sheriff's deputy last Friday in St. Stephen. We've learned a number of dogs were removed from the suspect's home. Calvin Middleton III, the man you see here, is now out of the hospital, and we are told he was denied bond on 3 attempted murder charges, but he could face additional charges. Here's News 2's Berkeley County reporter Raymond Owens with an update on where those dogs were found on Middleton's property.
More than a dozen dogs were brought here to the Berkeley Animal Center after the shooting Friday.
So on Friday we got the call, we went out there and we seized about 16 dogs from the property. Really tears at your heartstrings. You see the dogs, we brought 16 in, 14 of them were pit bulls, 2 of them were cattle dogs. And unfortunately we did have to put one down because it was just full of infection.
The shelter is packed with dogs.
We need help. We need donations, we need volunteers, we need people to come adopt, foster if you can.
Several donations are already coming in, but more is needed. Right now, the dogs that were rescued Friday are not quite ready to be adopted, but they should be soon. Most of these dogs should be available for adoption within about a week. In Moncks Corner, I'm Raymond Owens. Count on 2.
New at 6 o'clock, a soccer coach is accused of assaulting a child. We're told it happened at the Park West Recreational Complex on Park West Boulevard on Tuesday. Police say the suspect, Arthur Greer, got into a fight of some kind with children on the field. Police say a Snapchat video shows Greer placing his hand across the throat and throwing a child on the ground.
North Charleston Police Chief Reggie Burgess held a march today in hopes of stopping violence in his city. Last year, North Charleston saw 35 homicides, and just this past Friday, an 18-year-old was found shot and killed on Bennett Yard Road. Chief Burgess says it's important for the police and community members to work as one so that police are more effective at preventing crime.
If you have these digits, they're all good, but when you put these digits together, community police, we can stop the problems in our community. But you got to come together. We've got to come together.
Burgess first took the streets Monday. The response from the community was so positive that he said he was going to return with a bigger crowd today, and did. The police department says they will probably organize another march in the near future. They don't have a definite date at this point, but we will, of course, keep you updated. A News 2 update on the failed VC Summer Nuclear Power Project. Today, the State House passed another proposal to lower customers' electric bills.
Yeah, they did. South Carolina electric and gas customers have been paying into the project since it started and have continued to pay for it since it stopped. That project did back in July. One more vote must take place before the measure goes to the Senate, which has yet to agree to cutting customers' payments for that failed project.
Also, former South Carolina Attorney General Charlie Condon has a new assignment. Governor Henry McMaster appointed Condon as the next chairman of Santee Cooper Board of Directors. He's replacing former chair Leighton Lord, who resigned back in December. The governor will appoint Condon to a full 7-year term after the current one expires in May. The South Carolina Senate has agreed to allow the use of the electric chair to execute prisoners on death row. The Senate voted Tuesday on the measure. The proposal faces one more vote before going to the House. South Carolina has not performed a lethal execution since 2013 due to the lack of lethal injection drugs.
More than $13 million is going toward the Highway 78 improvement project, and that's because of a grant. News 2's Dorchester County reporter Stetson Miller explains.
Soon, Highway 78 in Dorchester County will start to see improvements. The county was just awarded $13.25 million by U.S. Department of Transportation grant program. The money is for Phase 2 of the Highways Improvement Project.
The Department of Transportation Tiger grant funding was awarded to Dorchester County on Tuesday. It's the first time the county has ever received this kind of funding.
Those are very competitive grants, and so for Dorchester County to get a grant that size that allows this project to become viable, that's a huge win for Dorchester County.
The grant completes the funding needed for this phase of the project. Over $12.5 million came in funding from the Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester Council of Governments Rural Guide Share funds, and only about $580,000 came from the county itself.
From Dorchester County taxpayers' standpoint, that's a really good investment on their dollar.
The project will widen Highway 78 and improve 8.2 miles of it.
Looking at lane and shoulder improvements, and then you're going to be looking at 4 to 5 lane improvements in the Ridgeville area, and then when you get just a little bit south of Ridgeville or east of Ridgeville, you're going to be looking at a 3-lane improvement and shoulder improvements over there. So that's really going to improve our safety as well as just overall economic development opportunities in that area.
The improvements are also important because the road is a regional hurricane evacuation route.
Now, the county says this project will create 185 construction jobs and 477 jobs from indirect employment. In Dorchester County, Stetson Miller, Count on 2.
An update to a story we told you about on yesterday, a bill aiming to have schools screen students in kindergarten to 2nd grade for dyslexia is a step closer to becoming law. Today, the bill passed the subcommittee and is on its way to the full Senate Education Committee. If approved, screenings would begin with the 2019-2020 school year.
The bill that would create driving under the influence of an electronic device charge went before the South Carolina House Subcommittee today. This bill wants to raise a fine of up to $100, even $300 on the second offense if someone is caught using an electronic device while driving. About 1,300 texting while driving violations are reported in the state annually. We'll update you on the decision on air and online at counton2.com.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is investigating after an osprey nest was found destroyed in Mount Pleasant.
A lot of people talking about this on social media. News 2's Libba Holland spoke with neighbors and authorities about what happened.
Earlier this week, many Mount Pleasant residents complained to wildlife authorities after an osprey nest was found destroyed near the Rivertown neighborhood. But I do have some good news to report. It seems the osprey couple has decided to rebuild. A spokesperson with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources says the agency received a complaint from neighbors about the destruction. Authorities visited the site with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and they found the torn nest and eggs. South Carolina Electric and Gas owns the utility pole where the nest was. SCE&G released a statement saying, quote, "We are aware of the concerns expressed by some members of the community regarding the maintenance and inspection work our crews were performing at this specific location and will continue to cooperate as requested." Neighbors say the nest had been part of the community for many years, and they were shocked and disappointed when they saw it was gone.
Perhaps if a platform could be made or something else in the future just to prevent them having to take that nest down in the future.
We will continue to follow this federal investigation for you and bring you updates as they come in. In Mount Pleasant, Libba Holland, Count on 2.
March Madness still alive and well for the College of Charleston. After a 19-year drought, the CFC men's basketball team punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. They won in overtime last night against Northeastern. They came back from 17 points down to win this game in overtime. Not bad. In downtown Charleston, local bars and restaurants say watching their home team play in this tournament is icing on the cake.
I think the fact that College of Charleston's in it this year is going to really just kind of be that sugar on top of what's already a big time event.
As for who they'll play, when they'll play, and where they'll play, we'll find that out this Sunday during the selection show.
Next on News 2.
$12,000, and 5 months later, a Lowcountry woman is still waiting on cabinets she purchased for her home.
In tonight's Call Collette report, we find out what's causing this delay.